Apple went ahead and released new iPads today, along with other things via a press release. It's been a long while since they last did this. Last time they unveiled products via a newsroom post was before the lockdown. So let's unpack the announcements. So I woke up this morning to a video on YouTube published by Apple, and it was the release video for this new iPad 10th generation. Now, from what I've initially seen, I'm impressed. The new iPad features an all-screen design and a 10.9-inch liquid retina display. It looks a lot like the iPad Air. The home button is gone, folks. Touch ID moves up to the top button of the iPad. It has the A14 Bionic chip from the iPhone 12, which gives it a 20% increase in CPU and 10% improvement in graphics over the 9th generation iPad. Apple says that the new iPad is up to 5 times faster than the best-selling Android tablet, but because we don't know what the, quote, best-selling Android tablet even is, I disregard this metric. The front-facing camera is now located along the landscape edge. Finally! Video calls were always so hard on the iPad with the selfie camera being on the portrait edge, but now you will always be looking right towards the camera. The front camera is 12 megapixel and is an ultra-wide sensor with center stage. They upgraded the back camera to 12 megapixels too, with a wide lens. The iPad now has Wi-Fi 6, upgraded from the 802.11 AC Wi-Fi supported on the previous generation. That is a mouthful. And now we have 5G on the cellular models. We now also have a USB-C port as opposed to Lightning. This is potentially in response to the EU passing new laws around this, but Apple has been slowly migrating to USB-C over the years. The only issue with this is how the Apple Pencil 1, which is the only Apple Pencil compatible with this iPad, has a Lightning port. You have to buy a new USB-C adapter just to use your Apple Pencil, which you might already have, which I find a little bit greedy. It starts at $449 for just Wi-Fi, and Wi-Fi and cellular models start at $599 USD. It comes in 64GB and 256GB configurations, and color options are blue, pink, yellow, and silver. Now, as I make this video, I am a tiny bit annoyed. I made a video yesterday about Apple product rumors, and I included a new iPad Pro with M2 in that video. And now today they have gone and released the products, so I must scrap that video and make this one. As I said, we've got an M2 chip with an 8-core CPU. This is up to 15% faster than M1 and a 10-core GPU. With M2, you are now able to capture ProRes video for the first time and transcode ProRes footage up to 3 times faster. I like this as a video editor. The Apple Pencil experience got upgraded, the 2nd generation pencil, with this one. Apple Pencil is now detected up to 12mm above the display, allowing users to see a preview of their mark before they make it. This sounds cool, but I'd like to see it tested first before I make concise feedback. There could be technical issues. The new iPad Pro supports Wi-Fi 6E with downloads up to 2.4GB a second. Wi-Fi plus cellular models come with 5G and millimeter wave. And we also have the fancy iPadOS 16 features too, like Stage Manager, which I've seen mixed reviews about on the iPad, reference mode for color grading, and desktop apps. The 11-inch iPad Pro starts at $799 USD for the Wi-Fi model and $999 USD for the Wi-Fi and cellular model. The 12.9-inch iPad Pro starts at $1,099 US for the Wi-Fi model and $1,299 US for the Wi-Fi cellular model. I've had this opinion before that if you have that sort of money, you may as well get a Mac instead, because it's got way more value than these iPads. The operating system is just lots better. The new Apple TV 4K is powered by the A15 Bionic chip, making the device now up to 50% faster than previous generation. GPU performance is now up to 30% faster than the previous generation. Apple TV 4K now supports HDR10+, in addition to a Dolby Vision, and the Siri remote released last year is also included. The upgrade to the TV box itself is not that much, but the operating system is being upgraded. Siri support is being expanded to new countries, and Siri gets a complete overhaul with tvOS 16. When wearing AirPods, you can say, "Hey," to search and enjoy a hands-free way to control Apple TV. iCloud Shared Photo Library gets released on iOS, iPadOS, macOS, and now on tvOS too, and SharePlay also works with the Apple TV. The new Apple TV 4K with Siri Remote will be available for $129 US, which is actually a price drop. That's good to know. As I've already said, I had to scrap at least parts of the rumors video I was going to publish since some products were released today. But here are some parts of the video that are still relevant and could be released at some stage soon. Play the tape! I've gathered leaks from established Apple leaker Mark Gurman about tech that may be released in October. let's see what Apple could release in October. With Apple potentially putting an M2 chip into the iPad Pro, we could also speculate that they may release a new M2 iMac and a new M2 Mac Mini. The Mac Mini is 2 years old in November, and the iMac not far behind it on 1.5 years, the same time that the iPad Pro was released in April 2021. And people were wondering at WWDC,
so why doesn't Apple just release a new iMac or Mac Mini?
Well, it's potentially down to supply chain shortages. There's a worldwide chip shortage at the moment. When they put the M2 chip into the MacBook Air and Pro, they may not have had enough M2 chips in order to ensure that the MacBook Air and the MacBook Pro and the Mac Mini and the iMac were all being able to be produced. Now, it's been a couple of months and the M2 MacBooks are now available to purchase in many places, at least in the US. So it might be the right time to go ahead and launch these products, typically have a lower purchase margin out into the world. It could make for an alright upgrade, considering that the Mac Mini and M1 iMac still have the M1 chip. Now, aside from the base storage controversy, the M2 chip is alright, giving you 10, 20 or even 30% more power. Also, Apple has done something like this before back in March of 2020, before COVID even existed. They gave the iPad Pro a refresh as well as the MacBook Air its final Intel-based chip. So this could happen again, just with a different machine. There could also be some professional upgrades too. The 14 and 16-inch MacBook Pros are a year old soon. So it seems fitting Apple may release updated models soon with the M2 Pro and M2 Max chips. Apple is rumored to be planning to use M2 Pro and M2 Max chips in the upgraded MacBook Pro models. Mark Gurman says that the M2 Max chip will offer up to a 12-core CPU, up from the 10-core CPU in the M1 Max, along with a 38-core GPU, up from the current 32-core maximum. There's not really much else to say about this because everything else about last year's model will probably be the same. About the Mac Pro, I see it being quite unlikely that Apple would release such a groundbreaking product with potentially over 300 gigabytes of RAM with a press release. It'd be pretty underwhelming. They would probably even have their own event for it if we're being honest. It would be more likely to come around 2023 and maybe around WWDC since it would be targeted at developers and creative professionals. I guess that it would come in 2022, but because it didn't, probably will come in 2023. This AR/VR headset malarkey, it could come at the end of 2022, but apparently Apple is facing development issues. With this chip shortage, I could actually see it. It could probably be pushed out to 2023 most likely. So that's what was released. If you want to learn more about the iPhone 14 lineup, click the video link in the description to find out more. Thanks for watching, see you in the next video, bye bye.